What is going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to the OCG metagame breakdown number 8 and 9. I don't know if there is like a new set. I don't even think this has like some new cards. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I don't think it's really relevant. So yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting because we have some nice cards that are being played in the OCG right now. And also, they're getting closer and closer to the WCQ season, so they are really trying to play, the best they can in order to get ready for preparation for Worlds, just like us. In 1 month we're all gonna have our tournaments. Anyways, before we go any further, friendly reminder to smash the like and subscribe button. You already know the drill, and now let's get right into it. Alright, so 248 top performing decks from 46 tournaments in a bunch of countries. Alright, cool. Okay, so the first, the best deck is Snake Eye, and then right after that is Standby Dragon. Not a huge difference between both, but still a shift from the last break. Jesus, oh my god. Yeah, you see, there's so many tournaments happening everywhere. But yeah, before that, it was Tenpai, and then Snake Eye, and then Yubel as the third best deck. Now, what really happened is just like a shift between the two best decks, and Yubel is like slightly better, but not by a significant margin. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Almost every single Snake Eye version is playing Fiendsmith, which makes a lot of sense considering the fact that, I just think the Fiendsmith itself is one of the best cards to draw in Yu-Gi-Oh! Period. It does like everything you can ask for. It gets your Snake Eye engine started, it gets your Yubel engine started, it makes you play around Nibiru, or rather, like, you make the Caesar on summon number 5 if you play like Tractus, or you bait Nibiru by forcing it out super early. Pretty insane. Fiendsmith engine complements the Snake Eye engine perfectly well, which is the reason why Pure Snake Eye is now doing infinitely better than Fire King. Why would you want to play Fire King cards when the Fiendsmith cards are objectively superior? And only 6 build are playing without Fiendsmith, which I think is a huge mistake. You have to have the Fiendsmith cards in your deck. If you don't, it means that you're playing more hand traps in order to counter Fiendsmith, but you better draw those perfect combination of hands. Anyways, Standby Dragon after that, obviously Yubel, every single build except one is playing with the Fiendsmith engine. Again, they're fiends, and Yubel is just everything is a fiend, so it makes a lot of sense to combine, fiends with fiends. And then Fire King, even in the Fire King deck, we're still seeing like a few Fiendsmith builds, 5 out of 13, which is still something. And then Voice's Voice, 1 Fiendsmith, Voice's Voice. I swear to God, this engine is just legitimately getting close to tier 0. Lawnwing Branded, yeah, obviously this can now play Fiendsmith. And then Chimera, see, everything that can play Fiendsmith, obviously Tenpai Dragon can, Despia can't, but everything that can is trying their best to play them. Chimera and then Rescue Ace, most builds are playing Fiendsmith. Ritual Beast, even Ritual Beast is somehow trying to play Fiendsmith. Runic, Mangrate, obviously those decks can't. White Woods, bro. Bro. Fiendsmith Unchained, oh yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you can make Caesar with both the Unchained cards and the Fiendsmith cards, and you can also link off your Fiendsmith monsters for, Yama, and then that gets your play started. So it's just like Yubel. It's Unchained is kind of like a slightly worse version of Yubel. They're both really good, I think, but Unchained, at least in the TCG, will be less good because we only have one Sharvara. Anyways, Labyrinth, Sprite, even more Fiendsmith builds, Centurion, Infernoid. Oh, Infernoid abuses Fiendsmith better than everyone, I can guarantee you that. And then Memento, yes, I swear to God, I haven't seen like anything that isn't playing Fiendsmith. I guess Tachyon is like the only one, but even then, it can't play Fiendsmith because it's usually locked under Xyz only for the turn, not even for the rest of the turn. And then Mathmech Code Talker, Gimmick Puppet, yeah, that's also locked. And then Code Talker locked under Cybers, Marincess locked under its own archetype. Adventure Synchron locked under Synchro only. Manadome locked under nothing, but I don't know. Oh no, hold on a second. It plays a Fiendsmith. I'm so stupid. Centurion Dragon Link. Yeah, that is not a deck. That is absolutely stupid. I have no idea how someone managed to come up with this, but I guess kudos to you. What the Centurion Dragon Link? Huh? Okay, whatever. Fiendsmith Magical Musketeer. I will be making a video on this very soon because it looks super fun. Evil Eye, Fiendsmith Unchained Evil Twin, Flunderies Nuts. Yeah, wow, okay. Yes, Joshua Schmidt, Mathmex, Supreme King, Mechanco, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Alright, cool, let's get into Snake Eye. So some people are playing super interesting texts. I already talked about Curry Photon. It is a searchable hand trap. It's a light fiend monster, so your Fiendsmith, sorry, I think the name of the card is, I forgot. But yeah, the normal spell card that you can search with the Fiendsmith is a card that also searches a light fiend monster. So usually you're searching the Fabled Lurie, and then you're discarding it and then summoning it back, and then you're going into the Requiem and then you special summon the Fiendsmith from the deck, and then you revive back the Fiendsmith from the grave, and then you go into Sequentia effect, fuse into Lacrimosa, and then revive back the Fiendsmith, and then you can make a rank 6 like Beatrice, and then you can send the Snake Eye Ash, and then you can make Promethean Princess, revive back the Snake Eye Ash, etc, etc. But when you already have your Fabled Luri, instead of searching the Luri, you can search your one of Curry Photon, and that way your opponent cannot OTK you if he's playing Tenpai Dragon, or you can't get FTK'd by Gimmick Puppet or Tachyon FTK, which is a deck that tries to kill you with Catapult Turtle, because Catapult Turtle burns for half of the damage that the monster you tributed had on the field. So people are summoning an Xyz monster with 16,000 attack. I believe it is Numeron Dragon, and that gains 1,000 attack for each ranks on the field, and you're summoning a bunch of rank 8 monsters, so because of that, Numeron Dragon is fat, and you die in one shot. But if you got Curry Photon, you don't take damage for a full turn. That includes an effect and battle damage, which is perfect in a format where you can get OTK'd and FTK'd. So Curry Photon is a very good solution, I want to say, because it's just a one-of, you can search it, and it's a hand shop that just carries you for a few different matchups. So overall, I have nothing negative to say about this deck. Great solution to the problem. Honestly, the OCG, hats off to you guys. Another solution I think might be even better than Curry Photon. This one, we've seen it competitively a few times, and in the Paleozoic Tearlaments deck, this card is extremely good. It is Rise to Full Heights. So the thing is, on paper, this card doesn't look really good. The on-field effect is really bad. You want its in-grave effect. Its in-grave effect makes it so that your opponent, if he wants to attack, he has to attack the monster that you're targeting with the trap card. But the thing is, what you're going to be doing is that you're going to be linking off your monster like, you know, IP Masquerena or SP Little Knight, and then the monster is going to disappear, and then your opponent can no longer attack you for the rest of the turn. So this is a one-of solution to beat Tenpai Dragon perfectly well. Just got a few one-ofs that you can easily search in your deck that make it so that you cannot lose to Tenpai Dragon, and I'm a huge fan of that. So yeah, Tenpai Dragon, they really need a hand traps to prevent you from getting to Rise to Full Heights, because their board breakers are not going to be good enough. So yeah, keep that in consideration. Alright, what else do we have that is interesting? Their extra deck is so freaking tight. Look at this, man. They got so many cards that we just simply cannot afford to play. They got Linkuriboh. Instead of that, we have Anima, but because of the fact that they have Linkuriboh, they also play Sunlight Wolf and Heat Soul. We can't really do that unless you want to summon the Heat Soul using Sunlight Wolf and IP, but that's really stupid. And then they're playing Moon of the Closed Sky and Underworld Goddess, which I think is a little overkill, but I understand. No Dark, the Dark Charmer, but that's fine when Hita is also good. No Zealantis and no Raging Phoenix. I think that's very unfortunate because those cards are extremely good, but it's understandable. It's relatively easy to OTK, you're just using the Fiendsmith cards. And no more Dies Irae, which is the negation, the spot negate in the Fiendsmith strategy. Instead of that, we're seeing Caesar, which is also very good. But if you summon Caesar against Flunderies, you're going to feel a little stupid. And Flunderies is way more prominent in the TCG than it is in the OCG. In the OCG, it's only one guy topped out of 248 decks. So yeah, they don't really have to respect Flunder, whereas over here in TCG land, every single event, you have to assume that you're playing against 1 to 2 Flunderies. Well, maybe not 2, but 1 on average, because sometimes you don't play against 1, and then sometimes you play against 2 because you're unlucky. This is what you can expect. The rest of the side deck doesn't really matter. They still have 3 summon limit. I feel bad for them. Tenpai Dragon, they're also figuring some things. Rather, a monster that you can summon off of Hieratic Seal that is really good in the mirror match, and that card is a Heliosphere Dragon. So essentially, if your opponent has 4 less cards in hand, and the only monster you control is Heliosphere Dragon, your opponent cannot attack you, which is very good in a deck that's trying to OTK. I don't know how realistic this is, because if your opponent has an Ash, all he has to do is not Ash any of your plays when he forces you to go first, and then holds the Ash for the Hieratic Seal effect, a special summon from deck, and then you die. So it's not trash, it's still good, it's still a one-of that you always have access to because making Hieratic Seal is a joke. A lot of the cards in your deck are one-card combos. The only exceptions are Zongdora and Fedora, but everything else, like, you know, the Bajra, or the White Dude, and then the freaking Genroku, Dori, Draco, whatever the hell this is, Field Spell, Kaimin, all those cards, they make you summon Hieratic Seal on their own, so it's nice. But it doesn't really get you to a follow-up play either, so you only do this when you have a Tenpai Dragon card to follow up with in your hand regardless. If you have a bunch of hand shops, you probably just go for, you know, you try to summon Fedora and then revive back something and then quick sync on your opponent's turn. That's usually a little safer, I want to say. People are still citing Heatwave. I don't agree with that. In the TCG, we're not seeing Heatwave, by the way, and people that are really doing super well. This card is weird because My issue with Heatwave is that it makes a lot of sense if you're really trying yourself to go first. If you are, then it's fine, but if you don't know if your opponent is going to make you go first or second, Heatwave is a gamble, because if you draw Heatwave and then your opponent chooses to go first, then you have Heatwave going second, which does nothing. So you have one less card in your hand. That card could have been a hand trap, and it would have been much better. A card like Shifter, on the other hand, is always good, going first and second. I've already explained that in a bunch of videos in the past, but I just don't think Heatwave is as good as Shifter. In the TCG, we have 3 Shifters, so I guess maybe that kind of mitigates that, you know, that argument in the first place, but I don't know. Yeah, and also they have Kaiser Coliseum, so I guess you can argue that they're different than us, but I don't know, bro. Also, I don't even think the new cards from Infinite Forbidden changed that much. People hyped the shit out of them. They were like, yo, the Trap card is insane. Nobody's playing it, bro. Have you seen a single Tenpai Dragon deck list that's playing the Trap and trying to, you know, skip the opponent's turn? Nobody's doing that. It's still the same old going second OTK deck or bust. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. And Genroku and the Draco monster, they really don't add that much to the strategy, I swear to God. Anyways, there's really nothing super spicy about Tenpai Dragon, so I'm not gonna stay too long there. Yubel, I mean, I've already explained this either in this video or the last one, but there's also nothing like super unique about Yubel. Now, there is one thing I want to cover. This deck list is back to only playing 1 Yubel, because the last one, it was playing 2 Yubel, and I have been told in the comment section that the second Yubel is there in order to make the Varudas, because you want to be able to summon 2 Yubels and then make this, and then you still have like your Spirit of Yubel for something else. But Yubel itself is a very, very bad card. It doesn't do anything. Spirit of Yubel, it doesn't suck. And this is the reason why the Tenpai Dragon matchup is extremely favorable. What are they gonna do? They're gonna go Battle Phase, try to attack over you, and then you got like basically a Battle Fader, and then your opponent has to attack Spirit of Yubel, you don't take damage, and even if your opponent has something to destroy by card effect, it just floats into Yubel. They want to destroy Yubel, no problem. All the damage is reflected back to you, and then if it dies by card effect, you summon Terra Incarnate, and then they still keep dying. So this deck is the #1 best deck to play if you assume that the field is going to be Tenpai Dragon. The only thing is, I don't think this deck has the flexibility to consistently beat a deck like Snake Eye, because this deck is the ultimate combo deck that just has everything going for it. I say combo deck, I don't really consider it that much of a combo deck. It's kind of like an in-between of combo and mid-range. It's a mix of both, but it's really weird. Yubel is also the exact same, but I think this deck just plays a little more bricks than Snake Eyes, unfortunately, because it also plays the same amount of bricks for the Fiendsmith engine, but then there's also a lot of other cards that you don't necessarily want to draw. The Yubel monsters, for example, are bricks, and then Unchained doesn't really have too many like terrible bricks, but it's just that you'd rather not draw Sharvara and the Trap card, for example, and then, I don't know, sometimes the ratios are weird, sometimes you can draw too many normal summons, or sometimes it's fine. It really depends. You can't really say that this deck bricks, but sometimes your hand just randomly loses to one hand trap, whereas in Snake Eye, usually because of the fact that you have like so many good engines, so many hand traps and everything, you're not gonna fold to like one interaction. Even though I still believe that this main deck is just it's only correct for the OCG, and the TCG we're going to see something completely different, because obviously we don't have Maxi, so you don't have to end your turn on just dramatic chase into Silvera and that's it. So yeah, it's much different over here. And then only 2 Phantom of Yubel, interesting. 1 Dies Irae, or whatever, how you're supposed to pronounce this, I really don't care. Change of Heart at 1, even though it's a 3, thinking. And yeah, nothing else worth really going over. I've made a video about Varudas, saying that I don't think this card will break the game in any way, shape, or form. It is a rank 10, kind of like Baron, but its effect is technically worse than Baron, and it is much harder to summon. Rank 10s are super niche. I can't think of a lot of decks that can really abuse rank 10s. There is like, I guess I missed Tistina. that deck's not really real. But it's like Train, Machina, like the Earth Machine deck, Yubel, Eldritch, Dark Lord, and that's pretty much it. And I guess like Saber Dragon using double Mega Fleet or something. But bro, it's really not that relevant. So yeah, this card's like super fair. And then everything else in the extra deck, yeah, it's a really nice toolbox, the extra deck, because you got like ways to deal with everything. And then, you know, Phantom of Yubel is pretty much like a vicious Astrolaut, so even if you got no monsters on the field, you can still summon this. This is what I love so much about Yubel. It's a great deck, with Phantom of Yubel, of course. Without this card, it's a good deck. It's not a great deck, but now it's just gonna be like clearly in the top 3 best decks. I predicted that ever since we saw what Phantom of Yubel could do, ever since we got it announced. And then apart from that, I mean, I predicted that pure Snake Eye was going to be leapfrogging Tenpai Dragon eventually, because the thing is, even though Tenpai Dragon was the #1 best deck in terms of representation in the last breakdown, when you look at what people are using to win in every single tournament, it's always Fiendsmith Snake Eye. Every single time. Okay, I guess that's Rescue Ace. But yeah, almost every single tournament is being won by Fiendsmith Snake Eye, or at least like very close to. Tenpai Dragon is not really winning that often. See, Fiendsmith Snake Eye again. Malaysia, Fiendsmith Snake Eye. It's almost only Fiendsmith Snake Eye at the top, and then some Tenpai Dragon at the bottom. Yeah, the deck is just way too good and way too flexible. It just beats everything. What can I say? Yo, and they're also main decking 3 Droll now, because Droll is really, really good against the Fiendsmith engine. And it's like, it's not too bad against Tenpai, but it's not great. But yeah, anyways, you guys let me know how you feel about the OCG format in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.